Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon for the latest film interviews, features, and recommendations on the movies that matter.
Kunal, good to see you. Kunal, how are you? How is the family?
Everyone is well, touchwood. We're all healthy, and we are trying to do the best that we can in the given situation, and just hoping and praying every single day that there is an end to this and we come out with a vaccine or cure, and so that we can get back to our normal.
Kunal, y'all are a unit of three. What's that like when you have a little baby? I mean, these are unusual times. Have you all found a rhythm? Have you all, have you all found your peace in a sense?
I think so. I mean, we have to look at the blessing in disguise. I mean, it's been the last 3 months. Both of us have been there at home together.
Correct.
And I think for Inaya, that's worked out really well to have both of us around all the time and give her all the attention and love. And in return, I think it's been the only thing that's kept us sane through this whole madness is her. Because, thanks to her, we have a routine, which is her routine.
Right.
We wake up on a certain time because she wakes up with that. We do certain activities with her. And then she does her play thing and all of that. So, I mean, it's been a good time to kind of bond with everybody and get to know her and spend all this amazing time with her, because I know I'll never be able to go back to this time because there are so many things that she's learning now, she's doing now. There's so many new words that she picks up. And now she started to dance and she loves her time with me when she wants to dance to these songs that she loves. So yeah,
Nice.
I mean, like I said, we're counting our blessings in this time.
Yeah.
But the hope is for us to kind of, I know she still says that because in December we were in Australia, and that was the first time that she enjoyed herself on a beach because she just started walking, right? And so she loves the beach, and every time when I ask her when we can go out, where do you want to go, and she's like, I want to go to the beach. So I really hope things kind of sort out so that we can also take them to the outdoors.
Kunal, you have a movie coming out. You have Lootcase that's coming out on the 31st of July. Is it unusual to be having a release under these circumstances? Does it feel a little bit strange,
Yeah, of course. I mean, now that you mention it, it's a totally different, not just feeling. It's a totally different ball game. I mean, a film releasing on digital changes so much, and I don't know how to react to it. Because like there is a different energy, a different strategy, a different plan when you're releasing for a box office release, because that Friday is so important, and you want to get as many eyeballs, and you want to try to get as many people to the theaters as you can. Uh, and you're also dependent on how your future is dependent on how the box office fares, but right now it's good or bad. I mean, there are goods and bads to it. I mean, you feel that, do I have enough skin in this game anymore? Of course I want people to see this film, but how will we be able to judge if it's done, like how you say it's a hit, it's a super hit or whatever? So that's kind of gone out of the game.
Yeah, none of the usual metrics apply, none of the regular metrics. Yeah
Exactly. So, but at the same time, that because it's so easily accessible to everybody, it'll be definitely viewed by more people, all around the world. But again, the same thing with marketing. I mean, this is the new normal, right? We're talking to each other through phones. And that's how it is. I mean, no longer are you required to get ready and go on a show or take a flight or go to a different city and do press conferences. It's all kind of changed. I don't know, even if once it opens up and it becomes normal, I don't know how the promotion of a film that's going to be launched on digital platform would be. It'll definitely be different to how we promote films.
That's true. Kunal, actually, the year started out on a pretty good note for you, didn't it? I mean, you had Malang, which was a very big hit, and you actually got great responses to your performance. You played a character that I would imagine many actors might not have. You played a police officer who's dealing with impotence, and he sees that as a threat to his masculinity, and that leads him to commit brutal violence. Even in Kalank last year, there's no question that you were the one bright spark in that film. You got the only good reviews in that film. To be fair, there's actually never been any doubt about the talent, about the work, especially when it comes to comedy, which everyone seems to love you in, and which seems to come to you with great ease, whether it's 99, whether it's Go Goa Gone, which is my personal favorite. I thought that was great fun, and I thought you were great in it, and the Golmaal films, of course. Now, do you feel like that promise, that talent has yielded the best and biggest opportunities?
Of course not. I mean, see, even on a normal day, anybody, if you ask, I think anybody who says, I think I've got everything that I wanted and I've achieved everything. There's no motivation to kind of keep doing better. The idea is to keep working hard at what you do, and try to get more opportunities, which there is a dearth of at times.
Mm.
Uh, but every time you get that, own it and do the best that you can and hope for the best. I mean, there are so many things like today. I really feel Lootcase is one of those films that will appeal to a huge mass and class audience mix, and it's a
Yeah.
family film that everybody will get to enjoy. But like I said, circumstances are such that it now is going to be on a digital platform. Yes, we love the fact that it'll get received, but personally in my profession, like I said, I have to be honest, I don't know how this will be able to generate more opportunities, because our industry still works on that mathematics, right? When it comes to making films, what is the cost, what is the recovery? Like I've barely been able to
Yeah.
understand that when they say, is hero ka recovery itna hai, and we can't sell this film with this kind of a star cast, and a proposal kind of
Mm.
becomes important. And I honestly feel that sometimes, I feel the films and film industry was a passion that turned into a business.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, today I feel is just a business that's pretending to be a passion. uh,
Mm.
and somewhere, I mean, we have to live with it. I mean, this is how the world goes round. But to answer, come back to your question, yes, I feel I have to be thankful that I have gotten opportunities, but I do feel that uh, I I sometimes feel that I'm sitting at home for longer times than being out there and doing something that I can be proud of. And sometimes that's because the kind of work that comes my way isn't that good. And when I say that good, I say that it's not a script that I can completely be honest and be proud of and get there and play that part. Uh, so I mean, like I said, it all depends. If you have a great Friday, from Monday onwards, you'll get those bigger in numbers and better in quality. And when
Right.
those Fridays are not going so well, quality and quantity both start decreasing. So, but like I said, I think I when people ask me that, or say to me that, hey, you still look so young, it's because I'm like,
Mm.
I'm not going to age till I'm happy with what I'm doing, until I've got the opportunities that I want.
There is this insider outsider debate that's going on currently with regards to Bollywood. It's an important conversation to have because it's important that the opportunities be equal for everyone. But there is a very strong sentiment that the opportunities are not, and that it's not an even playing field. In fact, you hinted at that when you recently, sort of addressed the fact that there was this announcement event where you were left out.
Yeah.
Um,
So honestly, if you read that tweet, there are two parts to it.
yeah.
I have to say that yes, there is not a level playing field. Everybody knows it. It's not like the makers don't know it. Every
Right.
producer, every director, every distributor, every actor, and everybody in the industry knows that, and
Mm.
it's been a certain way. But unfortunately, sometimes I feel it's simpler to kind of put it in one line and find somebody to blame for. But I think the power rests. It's like a system. We've had so many films where people say कि एक आदमी के बदल से कुछ नहीं होगा, सिस्टम
Correct.
बदलना जरूरी है, और सिस्टम बदलने के लिए सिस्टम का पार्ट बनना जरूरी है. It's like a film, right?
Right.
But I'm saying it's existed. The film industry has existed before I was born. I became a part of this at a young age. But there are certain things that are in the rolling. But at the end of the day, Rajiv, I feel that the power does rest in the person who's going to buy that ticket. He is
Mm.
the person who has the power to change something. So if uh, and it doesn't mean if five people stand here and we see it on a particular social platform, we see that this is the agenda. That it's not necessarily an agenda. It's the people that
Right.
follow me are saying this. But an
Mm.
agenda is something that's big. For example, when with China we had this problem and we said, let's, what, we're not going to buy Chinese, we're not going to use those apps. Immediately you see that the business starts to affect. Similarly, if you really have a problem with something, don't buy that ticket. You have a problem with an actor or a star, don't follow him. That's how it's going to change eventually, because everybody is feeding off what is selling, what is going.
Right.
I mean, when we do films, we have companies that do certain researches. I don't know how that math works, but they come
Mm.
back that this is tracking at this and this is
Mm.
tracking at that. I don't even know how TRPs work, but like there are certain. I mean, I know the gist of how it does. Uh,
Right.
but so coming back to an insider outsider, that's always going to be the thing. But here's the thing: when I said, there were two parts to that. One was the reaction that was asked out of me, saying that you've not become a part of this. I said, I was unaware of that. Uh, Secondly, like I said, izzat or kaam mang nahi sakte. I mean, if you're not going to invite me to your show, I'm not going to be upset with you. So I can't hold that against you. But yes, I can ask for work. I can ask for opportunity. And that's what the second part of the message was. Give
Right.
me an equal playing field. I have to keep proving my mettle. It's like a sport, right? When you're good at a sport, unfortunately, this is, and I used to always say, if I was a tennis player and I was gifted as I am an actor, there would be no way that you could avoid it. But
Right.
now this math and that calculation and uh, I don't know, I mean, so-called favoritism, maybe all of that kind of comes into play. But yes, I do feel that there is a dearth of opportunities at times, and I do feel that I definitely, because I haven't heard anybody or tell me the truth, tell me that you're not good, but I keep
Right.
hearing you're such a good actor, you look
Correct.
good, you dance well, can do comedy, you can do this, and you just need the right film. And I'm like,
Right.
then give me that right film, right?
Yeah.
Let's end it there. Give me that right film, give me that platform, give me a place where you do not have to justify, because that's also there, where everybody has to justify the budget of a film, but then there
Hmm.
are certain makers who do not have to justify that.
Correct.
uh, but I think that then there is a kind of a difference in the balance. We have a lot of influx and a lot of training for actors, for heroes, but I really wish that we had that kind of a crowd that came to be producers, because at the end of the day, those are the people who are running the show, and you
Correct.
cannot just blame one particular person because he's good at doing something, because at
Hmm.
the end of the day, they're the ones who have to take the risk, make a film, put it out there. I really
Correct.
wish we have more producers who can
Yeah.
just kind
They
of
can
get
make
there.
the change, right? They can make the change. Yeah.
I mean, started with Raj Kapoor. I mean, I was reading about him in Rishi Ji's book, and
Right.
they were those passionate filmmakers who would take a loan on their house, but
Correct.
make that film because they believed in it. So what if a Mera Naam Joker didn't work today? Let me make one more. Let me make one more. You keep making it, and that's how it is.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a victim or say that, oh, it's unfair. I mean, at the end of the day, it is in a way a kind of a competition. There will be only so many films made. There will be only so many actors that can do that. But that changes, and it's not always to do. Every star has become a star on the basis of a good film. You
Correct.
cannot just become a star. I mean, Vicky Kaushal, Rajkumar Rao, Ayushmann Khurrana, these are prime examples of boys who found the right films
Hmm.
that released and they worked, and they kind of are big stars today. And it's not changed. They're the same Ayushmann Khurrana or Rajkumar Rao or Vicky. And
Right.
I've known all of them and they're wonderful. So yeah, for me, I'm just saying that we'll sit there, keep doing this till that happens.
It's worth noting that while you're definitely an outsider, you're married to Soha, who is an insider, who's from a film family, and her brother Saif. They're both star kids. Your sister-in-law Kareena Kapoor comes from a famous family. When the topic of nepotism comes up at a dinner table, does it get a little awkward, Kunal?
I don't think it's come up. I think everybody's like just like not getting there, because it's an interesting thing. Maybe I'll bring it up and we'll talk about it. But it's not. I mean, it's become so topical right now, and we've
Correct.
also been all within the confines of our homes. The one or two times that we've gone there for dinner, it's just been kind of asking about each other, having that social distancing dinner, and coming back. But it's not come up. But I have to say that there is a difference between coming from a film family and coming from a family that is still kind of in the business.
Hmm.
Like for example, with Soha, her dad's a cricketer, her mom was you know I mean, she's a legend of an actor, but it's
Right.
not like they were actively involved in kind of making films and doing that. So I know for Soha, in fact Soha is the, like, I mean, sometime you should ask her. I
Right.
think she could have gotten a different launch altogether, but she chose something else. In fact, in her story, like, I don't think she was even, no, anybody was thinking of her being an actor, because she was,
Right.
working with Citibank. She was planning to settle down there. Parents were completely there. Then she came to Bombay to kind of work, and somebody reached out to her, and then that's her story went by. So I mean, the nepotism debate has been on for a very long time, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say about it. Your question, I mean, we've always kind of, when nepotisms come up, it's always been about something that somebody said and what the other person said and what the fight was
Right.
about. But we've never actually gotten down to break down that, where is that, uh, like, what does it mean and how does it bother you, or how does it bother me?
Hmm.
And that's why I think a lot of times, even in the debate, there is a mix where nepotism gets confused with favoritism or something else. It's
Right.
not always true to the meaning of the word.
Right. Kunal, you've been acting since you were little. As a child actor, you've been in some very popular films. You were in Hum Hai Rahi Pyar Ke, you were in Raja Hindustani. But I feel like Zakham was one of those rare films where you weren't used just for your cuteness. As the cute child. I mean, you played a young boy who saw his mother pining for her husband. She was married to a man, and society didn't recognize that marriage because it was an interfaith marriage. You showed so much maturity and depth for someone who was so young. Do you have memories of making that film?
Of course I do. I mean, it was a interesting journey for that film also, because I remember a couple of years before that film got made, Bhatt Saab had told me that he wanted to make a film about his relationship with his mother, and he was very clear even then that I want you to play the younger me, and I was like, I would love to kind of do that part. But then it took a couple of years for that film to actually happen, and by the time it did happen, it was the important year of my life, because I'd passed ninth and I was going to go into 10th, and 10th are boards, and I literally could not take any time off. So I had initially said I won't be able to do it, because I'm
Mhm.
kind of in a way retiring from films now.
Right.
And he actually said, I won't make the film if you don't do it. It's fine. I mean, I won't make the film. And I was like, oh my God, like that. No, but I want to do this because it's so close to your heart. And I have to say that I got like, I was the biggest star on the film if it came to that, because my time was according to what I could do when I finished my class, and I could only shoot for those 5 hours, and I was allowed to tutor. That was the first time I remember having a vanity van, which was just for me so that I could
Right.
study or do my homework. But besides that, I, Bhatt is definitely the most special person in my life when it comes to films, because I did not know what a director is or how cinema works, and I met him for the first time on the sets of Hum Hai Rahi Pyar Ke, and I remember that this was the only person besides my dad who spoke to me like an equal, and did not talk down to me in disrespect, but did not talk down to me like I'm a kid. He always
Right.
spoke to me like he spoke to an Amir or a Juhi, and he explained something to me like that. And I think he also fed off my energy, because I don't think I was like anybody else that he had worked with, at least as a kid, because I had no idea of the film industry. Uh,
Right.
so by the time we came to Zakhn, I think a lot of direction would just happen between his eyes and mine, because those were the times when we didn't have the video assist, and the
Correct.
director would stand right next to the camera. So he is the only guy in my eye line. And while within a shot, he would be so involved in it. Like I could see him tearing up or something, and I would feed so much of his energy. So I think, I mean, a lot of times people talk about Zakhn and they say, I say I didn't think too much actually. I was just
Mm.
feeding off the energy and the information that Batsa was giving me.
When did you fall in love with acting? When did you begin to sort of understand it and sort of fall in love with it?
I So I think like genuinely fall in love with was by the time I did Zakhn, because that was the only time, like you said, it was a mature part. I was also 15, so I was also kind of uh, changing. My voice was changing a bit, and I was
Correct.
my understanding of life was a little different. It was also the time when you have to take a decision of what you want to do with your life.
Right.
uh, and even though the whole preparation was to either be an engineer or a doctor, uh, deep in my heart I knew that I really, really enjoy doing this, and I know that even ever since, even when Raja and the Sunny happened or Hame Rai Pyar Ke
Yeah.
happened, just being in that theater, when you see people you know laughing and enjoying, you want to kind of live that. And I don't think a lot of time actors, and at least me, the whole fascination of becoming an actor and a hero does not really come from a place that I will be famous and I'll make a lot of money. The
Correct.
first emotion is like, I want to be that guy who breaks that cycle chain and goes after that villain, or I want to be the guy who says that this one line and people are whistling and you get goosebumps. And those are the feelings that, so besides all of that, I just felt that when I did Zakhn, the kind of love and appreciation that came with it, I definitely did not want to say bye bye to acting. So I
Uh-huh.
wanted to do theater and I wanted to kind of enjoy that, but I knew if I did science, my life would be just studying all the time. So I had to go against my family, and they were like really upset about it. But the only one commerce college form that I filled was in NM. And I
Uh-huh.
got through, and I said, I really want to do theater. And then I did a lot of theater. And that's where the whole passion and love for acting got even more, because that's such a impromptu reaction, right? You're on stage, you're performing, and people are feeding off your energy and they're kind of giving you that reaction. And I have to say, that's the closest I came to feeling like what a rock star would.
But Kunal, that period between Zakham and Kalyug, that period where you're not small enough to be a child actor anymore, and you're not old enough to be an adult actor, is for a lot of people, it's a tricky phase, because and in your case, you've done big films. I mean, I know you're saying you did theater and you focused on the studying as well, but was that a little difficult to get your head around, because you were famous? I would imagine that people had seen you with Amir, Juhi, you had done Zakham, where you were very good, um, and then suddenly it's a kind of life of anonymity for those 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually, like I said, I was 15 when Zakham happened, and I was still my height was not that good. I shot up after 12th when I was in my first year senior college. I think what was important at that point, I was fully aware of the fact that I have to kind of try to break the relationship that I have had with my audiences on television or movie screens, because they've seen me grow up. Now, if I keep being there and they see me through my adolescence and like all those phases, they'll never be able to establish that new relationship. So while I was away for those 5-6 years, I wasn't even sure if I would get this opportunity. I mean, I wanted it. So I wasn't thinking about the fact that will they accept. This was never on my radar. I was made aware of it when I started promoting the film. That's when these questions started coming my way. That do you think they will accept you or not accept you? I was like, I've not been thinking about it, but now I'm scared because I have a release coming up in 2 weeks, and I completely missed this subject. But I just had blinders on. I was just working on myself, and I'm very lucky that people did accept me, and that I did get a platform like Kalyug from somebody like Bhatsav and Mukesh ji, and yeah, I mean, rest is history. I mean, we're still in that journey now.
Where did the comfort with comedy come from? Because it's clearly something that you're very, very comfortable with. It's something that comes naturally to you. You perform, and one you deliver lines, and they feel spontaneous, and that's the mark of a good comic actor, where they're scripted lines, and yet they come, the actor is able to make them his own. I mean, where did that come from?
I think it's just been a part of me. It's just that people did not see me like that, because I've become better now, but I was a very shy person. I was a little bit of an introvert, and I would take time to open up to people. But once I did, there's this completely wild side to me, which my close friends and my family know, which has always been there, even as a kid. And I think the glimpses of those come out in Hum Mere Pyar Ke or whatever the fun films that I did. But it was just that. But like even in theater, I did a lot of comedy, a lot of physical comedy, and I used to always enjoy it because I've loved stand-up comedies, like comedians. And I remember the first starstruck moment that I had in my career as a child actor was when I saw Johnny Lever for the first time, because I was a huge fan, because I used to feel that that's what cinema is. How can this man from somewhere make me laugh? Or how can this man make me cry? How does this man make me feel like I want to get up and work out and I want to go and beat up somebody who's doing wrong? That's the kind of emotion that it will invoke, right? So I've always been somebody who's had the reputation of being a funny guy, even in the group that I've been in and been in and around. And it just so happened that with films, I had to kind of still break into that, because after Kalyug was Traffic Signal, and I was only getting those serious films and dramas that were coming my way, and I really wanted to do comedy, but nobody thought that I could do comedy. So I had to literally, and this is where I was an uneducated Hindi film boy. So because everybody was like, why would you, after 2 solo hero successes, do a film like Dhol with like 4 people? And honestly, where I came from, I was like, because nobody thinks I can do comedy, and nobody will do a film which is comedy with me. This is Priyadarshan. I love this director. I think he makes phenomenal comedies. And theater boy, like, it's okay even if you're a part of the mob. You just have to be good. So with that thinking, I kind of went there, but I did not know that I was being judged in a different way from outside. But luckily that film also did well, right? But I think that, somewhere that's true, and it has to kind of come across. Like, even like you said in Kalang, it does not matter what the length is, as long as your part is written well. You can't do a small part that is not written well and doesn't mean anything, and then say, ki, if I just do this well, people will recognize me. It has to be a well-written part. Only then can you add life to it. And I've been lucky with films like Kalank or even like Malang. because
Yeah.
I don't think a part like Malang, I've never come across a part like that.
Yeah.
And in whatever films that I have read, and despite, like you said, a lot of actors would have probably said no to it, that is the only thing that kind of made me want it even more, because I was like, this is so out of my comfort zone.
Correct.
I really want to try this, and however it goes, we'll see. But who else than Mohit, who basically launched me as a hero, a nice guy, to
Correct.
launch me as a twisted bad guy.
Bad guy, that's true. But I want to talk about Lootcase. The premise actually is really interesting, right? A middle class fellow finds a bag full of currency notes, and he decides to keep it when it appears that no one is staking claim on it. This is literally one of those fantasies that every person has, isn't it?
I promise you, Rajiv, it is one of those films that, like, and I'm honest about this. When somebody told me the one line, I was like, I can think of 10 films like this. And yes, and there have been 10 films like this because it's such a common emotion.
Correct.
Everybody's had that dream or a fantasy saying like, मेरे को एक बक्सा पैसे का मिल जाना, मैं ऐसा करूँगा.
Right.
So what is different about this? But the devil is in the details. And when I read this film, I promise you, it was such a different journey and such a different take at every situation. And this character of Nandan Kumar is just like, is one of my favorite characters that I've played. And for the kind of slightly weird that he is, he's a little off in his humor and the way he looks at things and the way he wants to get out of a situation. And I think it also comes from the genius of Rajesh Krishnan, who's the director of this film, who has a mad rep in the ad world, even though he's debuting in films, and he brings a little bit of that mad humor and his different take of humor to the film. And like with Rajan DK, you'll see when Go Go Are Gone in '99, they have a different sensibility to that humor.
Yeah.
Similarly, Rajesh has a different sense of humor, and you will see in that film, which is very earnest, which is very honest, which is very direct to the masses, but it's pure in its form. It's not been diluted with saying that हाँ ये तो normal होता है, but इसको अभी funny कैसे बनाए. He's one of those guys. ये normally is funny है, तो इसको ऐसे ही करते.
So let's go with that.
So that's where it is. Yeah.
There's a little bit in that trailer which has that little kid, the boy who plays your son, who says that dialogue. And to me, it just felt like the young Kunal Kemmu. This would have been this exactly would have been what you would have been doing 15, 20 years ago, I guess.
It is all of us, the moment you see the stress as a kid, you're like, oh God, mera birthday present to cancel nahi hone wala na. It's like your first emotion is that, but my birthday party is coming. Are we not going to throw that party? So it's such that's what I said. It's such an earnest and honest feeling that I know we're going through a bad time, but please don't screw up my water park for that.
It's always a joy to watch you, both in, I thought you were terrific in Malang. I mean, that's not what really one expected, that the film to go in that direction or to find a character like that. And then just seeing you in something like Go Go Gone is always a sort of joy and a pleasure. So all the best, and looking forward to lots more, Kunal. Thank you. And
thank you so much.
All the best to the family. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Thank you.